Hey everybody, it's Justice for Comics. It's Sunday. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. I'm going to be reviewing some Hot 10 lists, CBSI. That list came out on Friday. Today is the wrap-up of the San Diego Comic-Con, so there's been lots of activity on that. I've been watching some live streams, some whatnot shows, and yeah, it's been interesting. I think this morning I saw, I think it was a replay of a live stream of Adam Hughes doing some drawings at San Diego. So yeah, so there's some cool stuff to take a look at. The list of books, I've missed a couple of these Hot 10 lists, so I'm going to be a little bit behind, but that's okay. We're going to review and see if there's anything interesting to look at. That's been kind of in the news lately, right? Things that have done okay. I haven't even looked at this list yet, so I'm going in cold. This came out on Friday. So honorable mentions first. Let's dive into that. We got Flash number 100. And this is a raw copy. Notice the DC Universe logo, which these are pretty rare, I guess. This is kind of even more rare than a newsstand. I don't remember, were these books sold at certain stores? I can't quite recall what the DC Universe logo had to do with. Like you had to buy them certain places. Maybe there were certain direct copies with certain retailers. I'm not certain, but man, this one was an auction that finally sold for $1,125. 28 bids. Amazing. Yeah, Flash 100. I mean, I don't think it's like anything special. I don't think there's anything key in the book. It just, is that from that era where they had these very, very short print runs with these alternative covers with that DC logo, Universe logo there. So, hey, if you got that in your collection, I don't think I have one comic. All the thousands and thousands of comic books I have, I don't think I have one comic book with one of those DC logos. So it's just not anything I was looking for back in the day. Obviously, I wish I had known about it. I'm sure you could have gone to a lot of comic book shops and picked them up for nothing, because there were a lot of people that were unaware, as I was, that there was just a lot less of those in the wild, apparently. But that's pretty cool for a modern book to be selling that high, raw, not even graded. It's crazy. Next one here is Sonic the Hedgehog number 30. This is one of the incentives. I don't know how old that book is. I mean, they're up to what, 82 now? 80 or 81? I don't know. I think they're in the 80s on the numbering now, so this is a while back. Obviously, this is probably a 1 in 20. It's probably a 1 in 25, if I had to guess. Sold for $675 raw. That's crazy. On a best offer of $1,000 ask. So again, I've talked about the Sonic the Hedgehog. I've made really, really good money on a couple of the incentives. I think over a year ago, I think it was Sonic the Hedgehog number 50, the 50th issue. There was a 1 in 50 that I paid. I think I paid $60 for, or 65. I paid over ratio for the book, and I sold it for 300. So, in raw condition. So there are definitely certain incentives on these Sonic the Hedgehog books that just go for crazy money. And apparently this is one of them. Man, that's a lot of money. Pretty wild. So that's something to always keep in mind. I guess if you're going to a comic book shop, it's not a bad idea to check the back issue bins on Sonic the Hedgehog books if they have any. You see an incentive in there, it might be worth grabbing for sure. All right, moving on to the list now. Number 10, Exquisite Corpses number 3. This is the foil thank you variant, the one per store. I guess in the past week there were 20 sales, averaging around $35, a high of 40. I think that is a Walsh cover. It's okay. I think I pre-ordered a really good cover on Exquisite Corpses number 3. I don't know if was there a Puppeteer Lee cover? There was a cover on issue 3 that's really, really good. I'll have to look that up, but man, I think it might be a Puppeteer Lee cover. I'm not certain. I'll have to look into that. Number 9 is a book I have in my collection, Booster Gold number 1. First appearance of Booster Gold. Dan Jurgens. Man, Dan Jurgens back in the 90s. Yeah, I think that's when this book came out. Either late 80s or early 90s. Jurgens did Justice League for a while. Yeah, I've got a really high grade copy. Man, 9.8 just sold for $430. Yeah, that's another book I should probably send in for grading because yeah, if someone wanted to give me like $400 to $500 for that, I'd probably take it. So I have a pretty high grade copy too, and I think mine might be a newsstand as well. So I don't know. I'll have to take a look. I'll have to pull that one out and take a gander at it. Number 8 is The Sandman number 8. I just caught the first episode of the second season of The Sandman. And yeah, it's okay. It's kind of going into the background more of the dream, at this relationship. They're having this meeting with his brothers and sisters, desire, destiny, all these different death, all these different gods that basically gods, right? That rule the universe, the known universe. So I've only started watching this. The first season was pretty good. I thought it was entertaining. I don't know that didn't knock my socks off, but I thought it was entertaining. But again, it's creating interest in some of these older books. Obviously, Sandman number 1, number 8. I think 8 is the first appearance of Death, and I think issue 4. I know there's 2 or 3 issues there in that early run that people focus in on, but yeah, number 8 is definitely one of them. I think 8 is the first appearance of Death. Averaging $130, a high raw, I think they got that background. I think they got that backwards. It should be averaging $70 with a raw high sale of 130. But they're saying average 130, raw high sale of 70. Yeah, they got that backwards. Again, Comic Book Invest, if you want to hire me to do some editing for you, to edit your site before you release it, let me know. I'm pretty cheap. I'll only charge you like $40 an hour. It's pretty reasonable. I catch mistakes on their site all the time. That's just another one right there. Number 7 is Superman Unlimited #1. I don't think that's the A cover. I think that's like the D cover. 30 copies sold, averaging $18, high sale of 29. Yeah, the movie hype is still there, and you've got James Gunn there on the cover. I remember a few years ago, there was a couple DC books that came out. One of them had one of the Beatles on there. Who was that? There was only 2 alive left now, right? It wasn't Ringo. It was the other one. Oh my God, my brain is mush this morning or this afternoon. Yeah, well, the lead singer, right, of the Beatles, right? I think it had him on one cover, and there was another one that had another famous celebrity on the cover. And those were going for like $20, $25 to $30 for a brief amount of time. And then, of course, now I think you can probably pick them up for cover. So I wouldn't be surprised if this drops in value. So I wouldn't be paying those high prices right now. I would probably be patient and wait. Number 6 on the list is Patient #9, issue #1. This was a book that came out in the mid-2000s. It's fairly old. It's not brand new. It's not very recent. High of $30. I'm sorry, high of 50, averaging 33. A signed copy sold for $700 recently. I'm assuming signed by McFarlane, who did the writing and the interior art. Very cool. Number 5 is Captain Planet and the Planeteers #1. Neil Adams. This book came out, I think, in the 80s. Averaging $20, high sale of $60. Obviously, with is it Dynamite Entertainment? I think has been relaunching the Captain Planet books with Mark Spears doing the art, some of the cover designs. So I think that's getting some attention. Number 4 is X-Men: Heir of Apocalypse #4. 50+ sales, averaging $15, a high of 50. I don't know why there's no commentary here. Oh, right there, and it says here, sorry, but a busy weekend ahead. So I'm entering notes as a placeholder until I have time to do. Show space there, another error. The full write-ups. Apologies for the delay. So we don't have any write-ups. I'll give you my write-up. Why is this Heir of Apocalypse on here? I'm not sure. That one I'm not sure. But huge jumps, 114% jump on the average sale, and then with the high sale, you got a 400% jump. So that might be one to dig through your long box and see if you have that one. Number 3 is Cal Exit #1. I think I have that book in my collection. It's basically what would happen if California decided to leave the United States. Obviously, California is a very, very progressive and liberal state. I'd be completely happy with California leaving the United States. It wouldn't bother me in the slightest. I like to visit California. I think it is an awesome place to visit. I would never live there. The taxes, the people running the state have lost their brains. By the way, another scandal. What a surprise. All the $100 million that was raised by the benefit concerts for the fires in California. Not a dime of that has gone to the people that have actually been impacted by the fires. What a surprise. Another leftist scam and corruption in the state of California. Again, I think it's a beautiful place to visit. It's a totally different story if you have to live there. I would only live there if I was just obscenely wealthy and didn't care about paying crazy taxes. But so it is beautiful to visit, but yeah, I would never want to live there full time. No way in hell. But yeah, that book, I'm gonna have to dust. I think I've got a couple, 2 or 3 copies of that book too. I think there is a variant as well, um, to that first issue. I think there's a variant with like a bear on the cover, like it's a white cover with the the flat. I think the logo of California is right, the bear. I think they have that brown bear. Um, so I'll have to pull those out. I know I've got them in a box somewhere. So yeah, I may have to pull those out, put them on eBay, maybe raise some funds. Number 2 is Ozzy Osbourne. Number 1, obviously, with the passing of the great Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness just passed away this past week, along with Hulk Hogan. And who was the other guy? Theo from, Malcolm Jamal Warner, I think his name was. We all know him as Theo from The Cosby Show. Man, The Cosby Show. Now, of course, anytime you mention the Cosby name, people look at you like, oh, where are you going with this? Yeah, Cosby was not the nicest guy. Obviously, he did a lot of nefarious things. Probably should be in jail the rest of his life, but he's not. He's not in jail. Anyways, Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath. It's cool comic book written by Mike Carey. Cover artist is Tom Kiffin. It's kind of a cool looking book. I don't remember seeing that book. I do have a couple rock comic books. I've got a Linkin Park book. I've got a couple Beatles books from the past. Yeah, I don't think I have an Ozzy Osbourne book, but pretty cool looking book. Number 1 is X-Men Age of Revelation number 0. This is the surprise variant. Well, that's not the cover, though. It says cover artist is Humberto Ramos. That is not Humberto Ramos's art. So that is the regular A cover for X-Men Age of Revelation number 0. To my knowledge, they've not released the art yet on that surprise variant. So I'm pretty sure that's not it. But again, our good friend Peter here, who does the list, is that his name, Peter? Yeah, he's known as Peter. No last name. He could be anybody. Who knows if that's his real name? He kind of just threw this list together, it sounds like, at the last minute. Somebody in the chat said X-Men Heir to Apocalypse is the first appearance in Heir. Oh, there's a first appearance in the Heir of Apocalypse. Okay. Who that is, I'm not sure, but Peter will let us know. Peter will do write-ups sometime before Friday, I would think, before the new list comes out. But that's your list from CBSI. I'm not too impressed with it. I think CovrPrice lately has been doing a better job of their top 10 lists. So we're going to go there next. Let's go to CovrPrice. Do there. There it is here. Top 10. We start from the bottom, of course, when we go all the way down. Now, their list is 20. They'll do the top 20 books instead of 10. A little bit more for your money. Mega Men number 3, first appearance of Lobo. It's a good book to have in your collection. I've got a nice high-grade copy. That's another book I should probably get graded. I'm pretty sure my copy would be a 9.8. I think I only paid like $30 for it back in the day. It was several, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. I think I bought it for like $30. Raw now would run you about 86 to 100. Definitely high grade. You're going to be looking at over $100 for that book now. Yeah. anything with four sharp corners and no spine ticks, you're easily looking at like $120 to $130 for that book. Graded will run you, 285 to 300. Probably you're over 300 for a 9.8 at this point. I don't think there's any listings at 285. It's probably going to be 300 or more, if I had to guess. But Lobo, definitely a great character, good marquee book to have in your collection. Jason Momoa is being hyped to be in the upcoming Supergirl movie. It's going to be making an appearance, so we'll have to see how that looks. Number 19 is Uncanny X-Men number 17. This is the Ajurke 1 in 50 Virgin variant. It's a good cover. I thought it was a Chew cover at first. It kind of reminds me of Derek Chew's artwork, but pretty similar. They're both very, very similar in their art style. This book has the first appearance of a new mutant called Mutina. Not very original. Mutina, is that really the name? Mutina? Oh my God. She's a mutant, and I'm thinking we want to call her Tina. Oh, Mutina, that sounds good. That's so ridiculous. I don't know how they come up with these names, but yeah, I don't think this is a character that's going to get any traction long term. But you find a deal on it. It is a nice cover. I think if you can get it below ratio, may not be a bad thing to pick up. Raw will set you back around $48, just under ratio. It's about the right price. I would hold off on buying that. I think you'll probably find some deals on that in the coming future. So you get it for like $25, $30. I think you're doing pretty good. Number 18 on the list is Spawn number 1. This is the direct copy edition, which everybody has a copy of this. 2 million print run. This book has been $25 to $30 forever. I mean, probably for the last 12 years, 15 years. It's been at that same price. It really doesn't move up much, mainly because it does have such a huge high print run. Where you're going to see people spend the money is that there's an Air variant. There's a blacked out version where there's a few copies out there that the color didn't transfer properly to the cover. So you've got that variant out there. There's also the newsstand edition, which goes for a lot more money. I would say if you're looking to buy Spawn number 1, I would try to get a really high grade newsstand copy. That's what I would do. Spend the extra money. You're going to pay 3 to 4 times what a regular direct copy edition goes for. But remember, it's everybody has a direct copy edition. Its print run was massive. So, and the print run was big, and it was mostly to comic book shops. So there are newsstand copies, believe it or not, but they're very, very difficult to find, especially in the high grade. So that's what I would do. Either the blacked out the blacked out version, I think that's going to run you thousands of dollars in raw condition, not even graded, which is, they rarely come up for sale. The newsstand, those are still harder and harder to find, but yeah, you're going to be paying $100 to $200 range for a raw copy, depending on the condition. 9/8 though are going to be probably $500-$600 for a newsstand edition. That would be my guess. But always a good book to have in the collection. Number 17 is Amazing Spider-Man 129, first appearance of the Punisher. Always a good book to have. Fantastic character. They're not really making great characters anymore, if you haven't noticed. The writing in comic books is just not near as what it was years ago. Today everyone's afraid to write a strong male character, especially one that is an anti-hero, which is kind of what the Punisher is. Most people in the comic industry can't stand the idea of the Punisher. So, I'm not surprised that people are still gravitating towards these older first appearances because they really, that's the real anti-hero is the Punisher. Here it says, with the inclusion of the Punisher in the recent Daredevil Born Again and his reported inclusion in Spider-Man The Brand New Day, he's not going anywhere, considering Kevin Feige has emphasized the future Spider-Man flick being a street-level story. The Punisher is likely to be heavily involved in that as well. The aftermarket has and is acting accordingly. We tracked 13 copies, 7-day growth trend of 20% with a high sale of $3,505 for a 9/8 copy and a raw near mint value of $813. It's just a classic book. I love the yellow cover. It's homaged all the time. Yeah, it's a marquee book. I don't have it in my collection, unfortunately, but if you do, that is a great one to hold on to. Most raw copies are in that 3 to 4 range. If you're 9/8, man, 9/8 would be. I remember I almost bought a 9/8 of that years and years ago. It was probably more than 15 years ago. I remember almost pulling the trigger on one, and it was like $1,200 for it back then. That was a lot of money for me, and I didn't do it. Kind of wish I had. Obviously, $1,200 sounds pretty good, for a book that's worth $3,500 today. But again, that was 15 years ago, so I don't know. Was the appreciation all that great? Probably not. Number 16 is Butterfly #1. Why is this book on here? I guess Amazon just dropped some news on this, or a trailer. Daniel Day Kim would star in a series adaptation of this comic book from Amazon. All of a sudden, collectors are in a hurry to secure the debut issue in this run before the first episode drops in August. 7-day growth trend up 18%, high sale of a 9/8 at $150, and a raw copy selling around $27. Independent publisher, Archaea. I think Archaea was the publisher. All right, that's a good one to look for. I don't think I have that one in my collection, but yeah, that could be one that you could find at your local comic book shop. Here's one I have in my collection. I remember this one. New Guardians #2. Jungle Snow. Yeah, I remember finding that book at a comic book shop for like cover price, a couple dollars. I don't know. I remember grabbing this because this was on a hot 10 list years ago, and I think it was because of Snowflame, I think is the name of the character. Apparently, says here, the online community has figured that Michael Rooker will be playing Snowflame in the upcoming Peacemaker Season 2. Does anyone care about that? I don't know. Maybe I'll look for that one this week and pull it out and sell it on eBay, because if someone wants to pay me $25 that I paid maybe $2 for, that sounds like a good deal to me. And I think my copy's pretty high grade too, so I'll have to pull that one out. Kind of a cool cover though. The New Guardians #2, that is definitely one that came out. Well, that book came out in the 90s, I think, early 90s. So you might be able to find it in your local comic book shop. Who knows? Take a look. Number 14 is Superman #680. Crypto on the cover there. I think that's an Alex Ross cover. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it's a good cover by Ross. I mean, Ross always does a nice job. This book is consistently selling around $30 to $40. 9/8 sales are around 200. Yeah, I didn't realize that they had written him into the Superman storyline back in 1955. That's crazy. I haven't seen the new Superman movie. I've heard it's fun. I've heard that it's done, it's done okay. I think it's done well. At least for a DC movie, it's done well. I haven't seen it yet. I'll probably wait till it comes out on streaming. I just don't go to the movie theaters all that often anymore. But yeah, That's a good book if you have it. I don't think I have that one in my collection, but yeah, it might be worth getting it just for the Alex Ross cover. I mean, it's a good Alex Ross cover. Number 13 is Justice League #1. I do have that one in my collection. White cover, kind of tough to get in high grade, but man, it's only $95 for a 9.8. That seems pretty cheap. Very fine condition. Raws are selling around $10. Again, Peacemaker 2, Season 2 rather, um, has some of these characters that are in this Justice League book. So there you go. That's one reason to look for that. Number 12 is Predator versus Spider-Man #4. This is the Berens 1 in 25 cover. Yeah, it's a good cover by Berens. Very nice. Selling for a high sale of $40, but average sale around 26. So selling around ratio sounds about right. Yeah, I would think Spider-Man would win against Predator, don't you think? Oh yeah, Larry Joe says that Snowflame gets his powers from doing drugs. That's right. I remember that now that you said that, Larry Joe. Thank you. That's right. He does cocaine. I think that's why they have like the snow cover. It's like he's doing cocaine and he's gets powers from snorting cocaine or something. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Um, yeah, thank you for reminding me of that, Larry Joe. I forgot about that. I'm gonna have to pull that book out and read it again. I remember thinking, man, this is a crazy book. It might be worth keeping. Hey, it's one of the first, comic book characters that snorted cocaine for their powers. Again, number 12, Predator versus Spider-Man. Yeah, I would think Spider-Man would crush Predator in like 2 seconds, right? He's way stronger. Predator has all these gadgets and obviously is deadly, but Spider-Man has speed, agility, spider sense. He can kind of dodge his attacks, right? And of course, Spider-Man, I think all you have to do is punch him once and that would be it, I would think. But haven't read the series yet, but I don't know how they're going to play it out. But I would imagine Spider-Man should be able to win that contest pretty easily. Number 11 is Magic #7. Yasmin Putri, 1 in 25 variant. Yeah, good cover by Putri. Selling a little bit over ratio, averaging sale around $32. High sale of 48. Um, First appearance in this book of the Embodiment, leader of the Eternal Dawn, a secret society within the Marvel Universe. So there is more than one reason to get it. Besides having a nice cover by Putri, there is a first appearance of a new group in the Marvel Universe. Who knows? You never know. They might use that group in the future. So it might be a good idea to pick that up. I think I pre-ordered the regular Magic #7. I think there was another cover that I picked up for that. Man, I can't remember. Didn't Maria Wolf do a cut? No, that's Cyclock. Yeah. I'll have to check. I'd probably at least get the A cover on Magic. I don't know that I didn't. I know I didn't order the 1 in 25, but I might have something coming on that issue. Number 10 is Post Malone's Big Rig #1. This is the 1 in 10 Johnson cover. The series has definitely been hyped because of San Diego Comic-Con. There's some San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. I was watching the Whatnot show last night from Top Shelf Comics. Shout out to Top Shelf Comics. They rip these packs. They have these pack exclusives. I think there was one of them last night. It was like a red foil cover of that Big Rig #1. I think the artist was, man, I can't remember who the artist was on that, but it was a nice cover. Very nice cover. So there are some exclusives from San Diego Comic-Con that people are chasing down. There's a couple black and whites that look cool. I believe there is a black and white of this issue as well as a San Diego Comic-Con variant. Um, but yeah, so far that series is doing well. I believe the exclusive that I bought on pre-order was the Akira. There's an Akira homage. I think KRS was one of the comic book stores that I purchased it from. Yeah, just a cool looking cover. I like those homage covers, especially the Akira ones. Number 9 is Red Hulk number 6, Dan Panosian cover. Man, this is one that I missed. I easily could have grabbed it for 25 bucks. I didn't. Kicking myself now. Man, it's selling raw for 125 bucks, and there was a high sale that for 204. Crazy. Again, 1 in 25s. I mean, it's not to me. It's not that unusual. Most comic book shops can easily order 25 copies of a book. Red Hulk is not a big seller. It's not like the Incredible Hulk. You definitely wouldn't see this book blow up if it was just Incredible Hulk number 6. But Red Hulk number 6, yeah, it's not a book that is heavily ordered, and it's a good cover. I mean, it's a nice cover. I can see why people want it. I think that price is a little too high though. I could see that coming down to 50, 60 bucks. So yeah, if you're really making designs to pick that up, I would wait. I would wait a few weeks, maybe in a month, you'll see it even cheaper. So number 8 on the list is Panocalypse number 4. This is a Shubina cover, 125 cover. Selling around $60, a high sale of 70. It's a good cover. Shabina is very, very popular, especially in the whatnot communities. I see a lot of auctions of her books. Massive Publishing, which I think whatnot owns Massive Publishing, right? They're the two are, I think the two companies are owned by the same people. And they love Shabina, man. They're supporting the hell out of Shabina. She's doing a lot of exclusive covers for them. She's talented. There's no doubt about it. She has a style, that uh, pinup girl style. I don't think she should ever draw a male. Um, I don't think she will. I mean, it's kind of like Adam Hughes, right? Adam Hughes draws really good women with a certain look. Black Cat, he's amazing at drawing Black Cat. Um, Same thing with Shabina. If she ever draws a male character on a cover, it probably won't sell. It probably won't sell, although it might be worth grabbing just because people won't buy it, and it might be a thing in the future just because no one bought it. I don't know, but I like Shabina's art. It's a good one. I definitely have that pre-ordered and coming to me in the next few weeks. Street Fighter number 1. This is the 90s book that came out. I think it was in the mid 90s. Selling around raw for $14. 9/8s are selling around 185. Um, yeah, I don't know how many of those are out there. I'll have to check the census to see how many graded copies there are, but I don't know. I don't know if this was mass printed, mass produced or not. But again, more rumors that a movie is being floated, and who knows if that'll ever happen. I've been hearing that for years about all kinds of different properties that have never happened. Remember that Spawn movie we were supposed to get, 10 years ago? I don't know. We never saw that either. Number 6 is All Star Superman number 1. This is the Dan Mora AMC IMAX opening night fan event. So these were given out if you um, well, it was participating theaters, so I guess you had to find out which theater was offering these books. You got them as part of your IMAX purchase. Now it's selling for around $23 raw and a high sale of $36. So there you go. You got to see the movie, and you got a free comic book, and hopefully you kept it in good condition, and you sell it and maybe get your money back that you spent on the movie. Who knows? Number 5 is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. The regular issue. This is Tom King. This book has been pretty hot for a while. The new Supergirl movie that's I don't know if it's being written right now or produced right now, but it's coming. I think it's going to be based on the storyline here written by Tom King. You got a raw sales at $75, 9/8 at 200. So that's definitely a book that has done very, very well. Pat yourself on the back if you had the foresight of picking that up. Number 4 is The Spectre, number 54, first appearance of Mr. Terrific. This was a book I looked to get several years ago. I kept finding copies that just had damage to them, or I could never get a good enough clean copy. And I was looking at that $80 to $100 price tag. Now a raw copy near mint will set you back $150, and a near mint plus just sold for $600, or 9/8 just sold for 600 rather. Man, that book is blown up in value. I guess people liked Mr. Terrific in the movie, the Superman movie. So who knows? Maybe he'll get his own deal one day. Number 3 is a book we already talked about with the CBSI Hot 10 list. Superman Unlimited number 1. We kind of already talked about that. Let's move on. Number 2 is Superman number 330. For years, folks have been hung up on why can't people recognize Superman when he has on a pair of glasses. Superman writers attempted to answer that in the 70s with the introduction of Superman's hypno glasses in this book. That's fallen by the wayside over the years or been forgotten, but that's at the forefront of moviegoers' minds. They were happy when the question was answered in Superman, and collectors have been after the debut of the hypno glasses since. All right, there you go. Very fine copies are around 20 bucks and a high sale of $48. There you go. Number 1 is the book we already talked about, The Shadow Drop of X-Men Age of Revelation number 0. Again, that is not the cover. I don't believe that's the cover. That is not Roberto Ramos's artwork right there. I believe that is the regular A cover. But there's going to be some first appearances in this issue. It's definitely one you want to order. I did pre-order a couple copies of the regular issue. The Shadow Drop, I'm not chasing that. I mean, I think right now there's some hype on that. I'm going to wait and see if it can get down to around $30 to $40. I might pick it up, but I'm definitely not going to be chasing that and paying $175 to $100. No, I'm not a big Roberto Ramos fan anyways. I think the art is just subpar for the most part. But again, this was a 1 per store promotion that they didn't let anyone know until the last moment. So that's going to keep the price high for a little while. But I think once the series gets going, I think the price will settle back down. So if you're looking to pick that book up, as I am, I'm going to wait a little while on that. So we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, that's what I had for you on those 2, CovrPrice and the CBSI Hot 10 list. Let's give a shout out. We got Larry Joe in the chat. We also got Kenneth Bird. He stopped by to say hello. Good to see you both. Real quick. Oh, I do want to look at CovrPrice. Day after Wednesday. I like those day after Wednesday lists. Let me go to that real quick here. Yeah, day after Wednesday. July 24th. Yeah, this cover looks pretty cool. I just could not find it for a great price. I mean, it's a 1 in 25. The cheapest I could find it was around 65 bucks, which I think is what it's averaging for. Midtown wanted like 81 for it, but it is a really good Trad Moore cover. It's trippy. I kind of like those trippy covers, man. I don't know. Yeah, Death of Silver Surfer number 1. Second print, 1 in 25. It's good. I like it. If I can find a good deal on one in the future, maybe I'll grab one. But yeah, I don't want to spend $80. That's for sure. The other one we talked about, Exquisite Corpses number 3, The Secret Foil by Walsh, $25 to $30. Another one here is Mark Spears Monsters number 2. I don't know why this thing, it's only a problem with these websites, man. Yo, these pop-ups drives me crazy. Ugh. All right. So you got Dracula in the, apparently I can't do anything about these pop-ups. That's a 1 in 20, selling for about $50. Cal Exit, this is a variant cover, 1 in 5 variant. I like that name, Dusky Loveless. Seems like a porn star name. Dusky Loveless. Oh, Lord. There's a good Frizen cover. I got that one in the mail, actually, the other day. The 1 in 100. Still selling for about $125 to $130. Yeah, I mean, I love Frizen. I got that one right here. I think I've got another copy. I should have 2 copies total coming, but got one of them so far. Very nice high-grade copy. Yeah, I got it for about $100. Didn't get it under ratio, but that's okay. It's selling for more than that now. So, Larry Joe says, I see they're resoliciting Essentia number 29, the Perio variant, now with incentives. Yes, I did see that. I know I pre-ordered that a long time ago, like 5 copies of that book, the A cover. And it was only that A cover, I think, at that time. I think I did that with DCBS service, discount buyer service. And I think they refunded me because it got canceled. I don't know, it got canceled a couple times. So yeah, there is going to be a 1 in, I think it's a 1 in 15 virgin variant of that Perio variant, but it's going to be like a full gatefold cover. And there's also a B cover toga. So there's like the regular cover is, you know, one of these characters is trying to stab Ronald McDonald, right? I think that's what it is. And then there's a B cover that's got him wearing a toga. I don't know, it's strange. And then there is a 1 in 15 virgin variant of him wearing a toga. So there's going to be 3 different covers, all by Perio, on that issue 29. So yeah, check your local comic book shop. The week it's released, maybe Midtown will have a copy. But yeah, it's definitely going to be, it should be pretty popular. Perio did a nice job on it anyways. So there's a Frizen cover. Dr. Aphra Chaos Agent number 2, the 1 in 25 by Riki Yagawa, selling for about $35 to $40. Yeah, that cover's okay. I do still have the, I think it's behind me, you can see it right there. That one right there. That's the Dr. Aphra Chaos Agent number 1. That is the 1 in 100 variant by Sarah Pichelli. I think the week this came out, it was, their copies were going for about $200. I don't think it's going for that much now. I think you can buy it for less than $150, if I'm not mistaken. Heck, let's take a look. I don't know. I haven't been on eBay in a while. What's this book selling for? Let's take a look. Star Wars, Dr. Aphra. I always want to see Dr. Afro. It should come out with a Star Wars Dr. Afro. I gotta type in Chaos again. Number 1 in 100. Not too many shops are ordering 1 in 100 copies. There's the 1 in 25 at an auction ending today at almost 8 o'clock p.m. Current bid is at $40. There's a 1 in 100. 207 they're asking. Here's another one asking 225. There's a CGC 98 asking 300. Yeah, it's definitely okay. It's no. I think I looked like a week or two ago, and it was like down to 150. Those copies must have been purchased. Yeah, there's one 241. Yeah, they're all over $200 basically at this point. Pretty sure I wasn't dreaming that. Let me take a look and see. There was one that sold for 190. Man, look at that. Someone sold one for 300 raw. That's crazy. July 1st. June 29th, someone picked one up for $100. There you go. That was back in June, though. Yeah, it's going to be one of those books that's tough to find. Just most shops are not going to order 100 copies of a Star Wars book that probably won't sell 20 copies in the entire store. So that one was a good one. That did well. My instincts were correct on that one. Picking that up for, I think I picked it up for $90 plus shipping. So yeah, it's probably $100. Taxes and shipping and all that. Not bad considering it set you back $200 now to buy it. My copy is in really high grade too. I'm sure it would be a 98 if I got it graded. Here's another book that I love the cover. And it was very hard to get a deal on this. Like I couldn't. The pre-orders on it were sold out, and I usually pre-order a lot of my books. Let's see, UC wood type. This is the Kyle Hotz. Hotz? Is it Hotz? Hotz? How do you pronounce it? Hotz? Hotz? There's been a couple sales. Last sale looks like it was around, yeah, there's one that sold for $70. That seems pretty cheap. What are they currently asking for? Let's see. There's a copy for $140 plus shipping. Yeah, only the one copy. Wow. I figured one of the reasons I picked this book up, I got it for about $120, so I paid more than ratio for it. But I think long term, it's a good one to have, just because it's a great cover by Kyle Hotz, and it's just there's just not very many copies out there. I mean, it's most shops are not ordering 100 copies of that book. No way, no way. Oni Press, I mean, it's a very small publisher. Oni Press does very few 1 to 100 variants. So I think anytime Oni Press is doing a 1 in 100 variant, I'm all over it, because I know long term you're just not going to find a lot of copies of that book. So I think that that's a great long-term investment. If you could get that book for $100 or less, I think it's a great buy. People are always going to be interested in horror books. Great covers. It's got both of those elements, and it's going to be pretty rare. I mean, there's just not a lot of copies out there. So that is a good one. That was definitely one that I wanted to have in my collection, and I was willing to pay a little extra for it. Yeah. So what else, guys? What else can we talk about? I don't think if I got anything else to show you. Oh, I did get this book in the mail just the other day. If you're any Delato fans, this is a nice Delato cover. This is the Street Fighter #1. This is the exclusive Sagat cover by Delato. Came with a little COA there. Carnivore Comics is the name of the company. Exclusive, only 500 copies with a COA. It's not bad. I'm just a big fan of the of the Delato covers. I've got all the Disney ones. In fact, I have one of Delato's most rare variants that he did, which is right here. These were back in the day when this was offered. You could only buy this graded. They only had 97 copies. So there's only 97 of these, and they were all graded 9.8. That is the Uncle Scrooge #1 from IDW Publishing back in 2020. That is the black and white Delato cover. You are not likely to see this book anytime soon. I think the last time I saw one go up for sale, let me see. It's been a little while. Let's see here. Uncle Scrooge #1. Delato. So he did a regular virgin colored variant that was limited to 666 copies. There's also a trade dress, which I think was limited to 1,000 maybe. I don't know. They're a little easier to get, obviously, those two. Let's see, do they have any? I don't even see it here for sale. I thought there was one copy for sale. Oh, there is right there. Yep. So this one is number 33 of 97. $675 they want. It's crazy. Which actually is not bad. I think there was a sale a year or two ago for like $750 to $800. So $675 sounds actually pretty cheap compared to what I've seen it sell before. There was also a graded and signed copy by Delato. I don't know if that's still for sale. I thought there was one on for sale. Oh, there we are. Yeah, look at that one. So there's the same one out of 97 copies. This is number 67, but this person paid extra to get it signed by Delato. Man, look how much he's asking. $5,500. Holy crap. Again, this easily could be one of the lowest print runs of a Delato cover, I think, is this Scrooge one. So I'm holding on to this puppy. I think long term that could be a big book. Pretty big price difference though, right? The raw copy not signed for $675 or the signed copy for $5,500. It's a pretty big range. Of course, you can ask whatever you want. What it actually sold for is a different story. I don't know if they're going to show any recent. I don't think there's been a recent sale in quite some time. Yeah. Man, look at that one. I've got 2 copies of that one coming. The 1 in 100 by Delato, Uncle Scrooge. One just sold on May 30th for $250. That's crazy. Someone had some FOMO there. Yeah, I don't see any recent sales of that black and white Delato cover. Nope, don't see any. I believe I saw one last year sell around $750, $800. Maybe I dreamt that. I don't know. That's one that I would love to buy right there. That Delato exclusive. I think who did that back in the day? It was like Unknown Comics maybe did that. It was some weird publisher. I love that cover. That one's I mean, if I had known about that, I would have easily paid $130 for that. That's a freaking awesome deal. I'm always looking for that book. Oh well. I'll have to keep looking. The search continues. All right, guys, that's what I had for you. Just a review of those Hot 10 lists. I think CovrPrice list is a little bit better than CBSIs, especially when Peter at CBSI isn't even doing the write-ups. I don't know what Peter's doing, but with his time, but he's not editing his website very well, and he's not even producing the content that he needs to be producing. So I think CovrPrice is killing them right now. I tend to be doing more CovrPrice reviews of the top 10 lists than I do CBSI lately. So the San Diego Comic-Con just ended, and it looks like it was successful from what I can tell. There were a lot of whatnot shows. There were a lot of interest in exclusives. I didn't care for most of them. I think there were a couple that were decent, but I think there was an Exquisite Corpses Rose Besh cover that looked pretty cool. But I wasn't going to chase it. I'm going to wait a little while and see if I can get a deal on one. It's just, if you look long enough and if you check eBay every so often, I think you can get some good deals. I'm going to be doing a show in the next week highlighting a lot of the pre-orders that I've done for the month of August. And these are going to be books that come out in October. So there's some good ones. We don't have all the covers being released yet, so I may delay that show. I want to kind of do it when I can show off what some of these covers are. There's a little bit of a lag in that. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe the next week or so I'll do that. Definitely on Wednesday, check out my Wednesday show. I'll be doing a review of the books coming out the following Wednesday. I do that every Wednesday afternoon. I use Midtown. I go through the books that are going to be coming out the following Wednesday. So it kind of gives you a little preview, what to look for, what to check with your local comic book shop. And yeah, make some plans, see if you can get some good books. All right, guys, that's all I had for you. I hope you're all having a great week, a great Sunday, enjoying your weekend. Back to it tomorrow, back to work, back to the grind, as they say. But check out my Wednesday show. Look for that in the afternoon. I'll be doing that, highlighting the books that are coming out, new comic books that are coming out the following week. All right, guys, have a great Sunday. I'll see you soon.